Welcome back to Rajani and my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about the subject called Python. In that, I wanted to present plotting data using matplotlib library. In this video, I'm going to present about the introduction of the different libraries which are going to help us to plot the data onto the graphs, and specifically about matplotlib library, where this library helps us to plot the different graphs like line chart, bar chart, histogram, scatter chart, and pie chart. Say for example, if you wanted to visualize the plots using matplotlib library, so I just wanted to present a program wherein I plotted 6 different graphs and using matplotlib library, and have presented those 6 graphs in one window. So to do so, what are the different ways that we can do? I'm going to explain it now. See here, to plot the graph, first the thing what we have to do is you have to import pandas as PD. And the second library what you have to import is matplotlib.pyplot library, and another one is seaborn. Let me explain those things. Import is the keyword used to import or add the library code into your current Python program. And moving to pandas library, this library is specifically meant for analyzing the data and presenting the data in the form of a table. That's why we have used import pandas as PD, where as PD is the shortcut name used for pandas. Second thing, I have imported matplotlib.pyplot. Matplotlib is a library meant for drawing the graphs, and in that library explicitly I have imported pyplot module that helps to create different plots like line plot, bar chart, scatter plot, histogram, and pie chart. And I have presented how to use that module and plot that specific plots. And seaborn is also a library which is a part of pandas, and this library is specifically meant for drawing statistical graphs in a beautiful way and informative way. And this seaborn library is built on the top of matplotlib library itself. So on the whole, I wanted to say that I have imported pandas just to store and process the data, and I have imported matplotlib and seaborn libraries to visualize the data. Now I have taken the data and I have kept that content in a variable called data. So here I have presented it in the form of a dictionary, where a dictionary stores the information in the form of a key value pair. And the keys that I have used is employee ID, department, salary, age, experience, and I have separated the values in the form of list, where the values contains 10 elements in it, where the key and the values are separated with a colon. This is the way of storing the information in a dictionary. So this is the data I have taken, and I kept this content in a variable called data, and I have used pandas to convert this particular data information into a tabular form. To do so, what I have done is panda.data frame, and I have given the value as the variable called data, which contains the dictionary information. So this content, the panda is going to convert the dictionary content into a tabular form, where the data is represented in the form of rows and columns. If you are going to print this variable df, so this is how I am going to get the content. This is called as a data frame, where data frame is nothing but a table where the data is represented in the form of rows and columns. Now, using this data, I wanted to plot the graphs. To do so, what I have done is I have used matplotlib library shortcut plt dot subplots where I have specified 3, 2, figure size equal to 1412. So what is this meant for is, I'm saying that I wanted to create multiple plots in one window. Say 3, 2 is specifying that I wanted to 3 rows and 2 columns where each window size should be, graph window size should be 1412. That is 14 x-axis and 12 representation should be onto the y-axis. That is indirectly I can just say in a simple word saying that is the size of the graph window. And I have stored this content in a variable called axis, where it is going to store the position of the graphs like axis 0, 0, axis 0, 1 and so on. This is how it is going to present. That means in one window, I wanted to present the different graphs were positioned at 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 2, 0, 2, 1 and using the variable called axis. Now, after doing so, I have used the seaborn library and I have called a method called scatterplot to draw the scatter graph. See here, this is a scatter graph where I wanted to draw. For that, I have passed the variables called x as age and y should be the salary, and the graph should be presented by using the data, that is df content, which is in the form of a tabular form, that is data frame which presents the data in the form of a table. Hue is equal to department, where hue is going to talk about the different colors for each department. So see here, I have used HR department blue color, finance orange, admin green, and for IT red color. And I specified plat is deep. That means it talks about the color style, deep color or light color. And later we specified S is equal to 100. This talks about this dot size. And I specified axis 0, 0, AX. What does that mean? Means I am positioning this particular graph at axis 0, 0. And later I specified in that position, I wanted to give the title to that graph saying age versus graph. This is how we are going to get the representation of the scatter plot. To draw a scatter plot, I have to specify what should be on the x-axis, that is age, what should be on y-axis, that is salary, and then on which data I have to plot the graph, and specify what are the different representations I have to use for the department, that is hue, and plat 2 specifies about the color styles, and I have to specify this dot size also by using S is equal to 100. And then I am talking about the position of this graph where to be placed in that window. Now let us move to another graph, that is bar graph. To do so, first what I have done is I have grouped the rows of the data frame by the department. In that I have selected salary and I have calculated the average. See here, DF talks about the data frame where the data is presented in the form of a table, and I have used a keyword called group by, and I have passed the variable as department. That means, so in the table we are going to group the rows based on the department, and in that, after grouping, I'm selecting the salary column and I'm finding out the average salary by using the function called mean. So here we have used group by function and mean function to group the rows by the department. In that, I have selected the salary column and calculated the average, and I kept it in the variable called AVG salary. And using this particular data, I am plotting the graph. See here, AVG salary dot plot, and I'm telling what type of graph I wanted to present, that is kind is equal to bar. What does that mean? Draw a bar chart, and I have specified color is equal to sky blue. What does that mean? Means each bar should be filled with a sky blue color, and I'm specifying the position of the graph where to be kept in that window, that is axis 0, 1. Later, I specified the title of the graph saying that average salary by the department, and x-axis should be labeled as a department, and y-axis should be labeled as salary. So this is how we can plot a bar graph. Later, we have presented a pie graph. To do so, first what I have done is I wanted to specify the count number of employees in each department. To do so, what I have done is I have taken the table that is DF. In that, I have selected department column, and in that I wanted to count the employees working in every specific department. Afterwards, I kept that content in department count variable. And now by using that variable, I am plotting a graph saying that kind is pi, auto percentage, that is F, and colors as orange. So the auto percentage is going to show the percentages of each department based on the number of count of the employees existing in that department. And for each department, we are specifying the colors as orange, light green, brown, and cyan. And we are talking about the position, that is Ax is equal to axis 1.1, 0 means I am talking about the position of the graph to be kept in that window. That is, this is a position. So this is a position, axis 1, 0 means this is a position where I wanted to place the pie graph. And then we specified about the title, and only we didn't talk about x-axis and y-axis. Instead, in pie chart, we just talk about the x-axis, and that's the reason why y-axis has been removed just by specifying empty colons. Pie chart doesn't need any y label, so we have removed it. So the title, employee, distribution by the department is presented, and we specified 4 different colors for each department, that is HR, IT, admin, and finance. Based on the number of count of the employees existing in those departments, these are the different partitions are shown in the pie chart. Now let us move to the line chart. So to get this type of chart, what is that we have to do is, I have taken the data df dot sort value. What is that I am doing is, I am sorting the values of the table based on the employee ID, and from that I am selecting the salary, and based on that salary I wanted to plot the line graph saying that kind is equal to line. And then for every representation I wanted to specify the points on the graph as a circles, and the color of each circle should be purple. And I'm talking about the position of the graph where it should be presented in the window, that is axis 1, 1. And I have specified the title, that is, this is a title, salary trends over employee ID, and x-axis should be employee ID, y-axis should be salary, and I said grid is equal to true. So grid is equal to true makes a graph easier to read without any overlapping. Now I wanted to talk about the histogram, wherein to do so, what I have done is, I have taken the table again, DF. In that, I have selected the column called salary. Based on that salary, I have started plotting the graph. So I specified kind is equal to hist, bins is equal to 5, color is equal to pink. That means divide those distribution. Generally, histogram shows the frequency distribution. And what I have done is, I wanted to represent the salary representation into 5 bins, and each bin colors should be in pink color, and every bin should be bounded with edge color as black. And I have specified the axis position also. Then the title, x-axis, and y-axis is specified as frequency. So here it should be y-axis. So this is how, say for example, 50,000 to 58,000, 3 employees. That's the reason why here the representation at 3, and the remaining is 4. So totally we have taken the 10 records. This is 3, 3 plus 4, 7, 7 plus 1, 8, and 2 comes under the category of this last one, that is it's around 69 to 75. So this is how we apply. Totally 10 representations have been presented in this frequency distribution, that is histogram. And if you say, suppose if you wanted to plot a graph, that is box plot, this is not available in matplotlib library. That's the reason why I have used seaborn. says here sn dot box plot, and specified x-axis should be department, y-axis should be salary, and the data that you have to take is df, and plateau cool warm, that is it is going to talk about the representation, and the axis is going to talk about the position of the graph, and specify the title, x-axis and y-axis. So in the box plot, it talks about the minimum salary, maximum salary, median salary, and what are the outliers. This helps to compare the salary distribution across the department. So this is what it has done. And finally, we are saying that we are using a matplotlib library shortcut dot tight underscore layout. That means we are going to place these graphs so that there will be no overlapping. So it itself adjusts the space. And then we have said show function. That means this displays all the six graphs onto the screen. This is how we are going to get the output. Hope this is clear for you.